As the cluster master, I'm the backbone of the Splunk indexer cluster, ensuring everything runs smoothly. My primary role? Managing the indexers or peer nodes to distribute and replicate data efficiently. I control the replication factor, guaranteeing data redundancy. So if one indexer goes down, your data is still safe and sound elsewhere. Configuration management is another key responsibility of mine. I synchronize settings across all peer nodes, ensuring consistency in bucket retention policies and data inputs. Speaking of buckets, I oversee their lifecycle, promoting data from hot to warm and cold states, while also managing the freezing of old data. Monitoring cluster health is crucial. I keep a close eye on performance and integrity, ready to take corrective actions like rebalancing data when needed. With me at the helm, your indexer cluster is not just scalable, but also resilient, providing high availability and seamless data access. The cluster master is a special Splunk instance that is responsible for managing the configuration and coordination of indexer clusters. Indexer clustering is used in Splunk to achieve high availability, data replication, and scalability. Key responsibilities of the cluster master: managing indexer. Cluster. The cluster master manages a cluster of indexers, known as peer nodes, by coordinating how data is distributed and replicated across them. It ensures data redundancy by controlling the replication factor, i.e., how many copies of data are kept across indexers. It controls the search affinity, which determines how search requests are distributed across indexers in the cluster. Data replication. In a clustered environment, the cluster master controls the replication of indexed data across multiple indexers to ensure redundancy. This ensures that if one indexer fails, the data is still available from another replica. Cluster master ensures there are sufficient copies of the data in the cluster based on your configuration of replicators. Configuration management. The cluster master manages configuration for the entire cluster. It ensures that all peer nodes, indexers, have the same configuration, and that any changes to settings, e.g., bucket retention policies, data input configurations, are synchronized across the cluster. Bucket management. The cluster master is responsible for managing bucket states within the cluster, including the promotion of data from hot buckets to warm and cold buckets, and handling the freezing of old data. Cluster health and monitoring. The cluster master monitors the health of the cluster, ensuring that all indexers are performing optimally and maintaining data integrity. It can take corrective action in case of failure, such as rebalancing data or adjusting replication strategies. Key features: replicates and manages data across indexers for high availability. Coordinates the bucket lifecycle across the entire cluster. Monitors cluster health and manages failover mechanisms. Configures and enforces consistent cross-indexer nodes in the cluster. How cluster master fits in the architecture. The cluster master works with indexer peers, the indexers that store and index data. Search heads query the cluster master indirectly to distribute searches across indexers in the cluster.